Well, Colorado is now one of the most expensive states to live in large part because of its lack of housing.
A measure on the November ballot aims to address that. Proposition 123 would transfer 1/10% of taxable income every year from the general fund to an affordable housing fund. Political specialist Sean Boyd dug into the details. And Sean, didn't lawmakers just allocate some funds to do affordable housing?
They put $1.2 billion toward affordable housing just this last year. But it is one-time funding. The ballot measure would create a permanent revenue stream using existing tax dollars. That is what excites supporters and worries opponents.
How do I inspire youth? Is my goal to be a teacher. How do I change the next generation?
Garfield Warren became a teacher to make a difference. He thought he could make a living too. Then he started house hunting.
I cannot afford right now. I am trying to limit my budget, so how can I cut even more in my budget so I can put away that money into house, and I also pay student loan bills, car payments.
He's even picked up 2 part-time jobs in addition to his teaching position at Green Valley Ranch High School. Still, home ownership remains out of reach, with the median price of a home in Denver at about $650,000, which is why Warren is supporting Proposition 123, which would divert money, an estimated $290 million a year, from the general fund to an affordable housing fund, a move that could reduce money available for existing programs or reduce tax refunds.
So I feel for that teacher. I feel for everybody who's struggling for housing costs right now. The solution, though, is not the government to come in and take $300 million of our TABOR refunds and try to create some affordable housing units.
Michael Fields opposes the measure that would fund, among other things, the purchase of land for affordable housing, financing of more affordable rental units, and down payment assistance. But in order for a person or project to be eligible, they must live or be located in a city or county willing to meet certain benchmarks, or no money. Those benchmarks include being able to approve affordable housing projects in 3 months and increase the affordable housing stock 3% over a 3-year period. If local governments are unable or unwilling to do so, the money would remain in the fund, and lawmakers could raid it for other purposes.
It's a very unproven, complex system that isn't guaranteed that it's going to fix the problem. The state should be, and the locality should be working with developers to figure out what are the roadblocks that are in the way, what are the costs that are too high that's driving this housing crisis that we have in Colorado.
Warren says the state also has a teacher crisis, and he worries the exodus of educators will only grow worse if the ballot measure fails.
People talk about the American dream is lost. I don't think it's lost. It's just a lot harder to attain now. I feel like voting for this and passing this would be a little bit easier for people to attain that American dream, or just a little bit less stress.
The measure also funds homeless initiatives and helps renters save up money for a house by creating a first-of-its-kind financing mechanism for builders. Instead of borrowing money from investment banks, they would borrow money from a new state entity with much lower rates. The money they'd save would then help renters build equity. There's a lot in this measure. It's going to be interesting to see where voters come down on it.
Absolutely. Sean, thank you.
Covering Colorado means traveling all over the state for you, including the